John Adams was born on October 30th, 1735, in Braintree, Massachusetts. He was the eldest of three sons born to John Adams Sr., a modest farmer and shoemaker who also served as a local church deacon, and Susanna Boylston Adams, whose family was prominent in New England society. Adams grew up in a simple rural environment where religion, hard work, and education were core values. From an early age, he showed curiosity, independence, and a strong sense of duty. Although he sometimes disliked the strict discipline of school, his father encouraged him to pursue learning, knowing it could open doors beyond the family farm. At just 16, Adams entered Harvard College, where he studied philosophy, Latin, and law. He graduated in 1755, ranking near the top of his class. Initially, Adams considered a career in ministry, following the Puritan tradition, but he soon realized that law better suited his logical mind and passion for reason and justice. After graduation, Adams briefly worked as a schoolteacher in Worcester, Massachusetts, while studying law under James Putnam, one of the colony's leading attorneys. This period shaped his intellectual discipline and sharpened his debating skills. In 1758, Adams was admitted to the bar and began his law practice in Braintree. His eloquence, intelligence, and integrity quickly earned him a reputation as one of Massachusetts's most capable young lawyers. John Adams's entry into public life began with his opposition to British taxation. The Stamp Act of 1765, which imposed taxes on colonial documents and newspapers, deeply angered him. He published a series of essays arguing that Parliament had no right to tax the colonies without their consent, an early expression of the principle, no taxation without representation. Adams believed every person deserved a fair trial. His defense helped establish his image as a man of principle, one who valued justice above personal or political gain. Upon returning to the United States, Adams became the nation's first vice president, 1789 to 1797, under George Washington. When Washington declined a third term, Adams emerged as the Federalist Party's candidate in the election of 1796. He won narrowly over Thomas Jefferson, becoming the second president of the United States in 1797. His ascent from a farmer's son in Massachusetts to the presidency reflected a lifelong journey marked by intellect, moral conviction, and an unwavering belief in the principles of liberty and law. One of Adams's greatest challenges came from France. After the U.S. signed the Jay Treaty 1794 with Great Britain, France, then at war with Britain, viewed America's actions as hostile. When Adams sent diplomats to negotiate peace, they were met with demands for bribes by French agents in what became known as the XYZ affair. Outraged, Adams reported the incident to Congress, and the slogan, "Millions for defense, but not 1 cent for tribute," swept the nation. This led to an undeclared naval conflict known as the Quasi-War, 1798 to 1800. Under Adams's leadership, the U.S. Navy, then in its infancy, fought successfully against French privateers. Adams strengthened national defense, but resisted calls for a full-scale war, believing peace was essential for the young republic's survival. His decision to send a second peace delegation in 1800 ultimately ended hostilities, a choice that cost him political popularity, but demonstrated his moral courage. In retirement at Peacefield, Adams corresponded with Jefferson, rekindling their friendship. He lived to see his son, John Quincy Adams, become the 6th president. On July 4, 1826, exactly 50 years after the Declaration of Independence, Adams died at age 90 from heart failure. Unaware that Jefferson had died, Adams's last recorded words were, "Thomas Jefferson still survives." Adams's legacy endures as that of a brilliant, principled, and sometimes stubborn statesman who helped shape the nation's foundations. He was a champion of independence, an architect of American diplomacy, and a defender of the rule of law. Though often overshadowed by Washington and Jefferson, Historians now recognize Adams as one of the most intellectually rigorous and morally courageous of the Founding Fathers.